Here we go from one season to the next. March coming in like a lion, and I'm afraid severe weather season is about to crank up in many areas. Hi, everybody. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Justice, mapping out a pattern that you need to know about as we move forward that includes a lot of gathering instability. This fuel for thunderstorms in the coming days will lead to the potential for severe weather outbreaks for millions, including areas in the southeast that we need to keep an eye on. So, as always, my goal is to give you an early warning of severe weather whenever it might come, and give you that knowledge that you need to help prepare for it. So if you're new to this channel here at WYFF4, please like this video, subscribe to this channel, and turn on notifications. It's the best way to stay informed when it comes to severe weather season. And when I see a pattern like what I see right now, where the seasons are changing, the air masses are colliding and clashing, that could lead to the potential of more widespread storm activity down the road. So what I'm looking at right now is a pattern shift that comes into next week that offers an active jet stream. And there's already some early warning signs here that mid to late next week kickstarts a pattern here that could leave us with multiple days of threats. And let me show you what I'm talking about, specifically looking at the jet stream. So this is the European's depiction of basically energy in the atmosphere. Now, these brighter colors would indicate just kind of a jacked up atmosphere. There's not much going on here. You got a dip in the jet stream, bringing in some slightly cooler air this weekend. You get a front that comes through this Thursday, but there's not much to write home about this week. This weekend, another little dip in the jet stream brings cold conditions to the northeast and cooler conditions at times into next week for the south. Then we get into a zonal pattern for a day or two. But in the middle of next week, look at this energy diving down here in the southwestern parts of the United States. That is problematic. When there's a dip in the jet stream there, it creates a ripple effect, and this looks to really dig in. This would be next Tuesday, a week from today. Like with winter weather forecasting, folks, I can tell you there's a pattern that favors wintry weather in the 7 to 10 day time frame. Very similarly, I can tell you there's a pattern that favors severe weather, and unfortunately, middle of next week, March 5th, or so, it'd be Tuesday into Wednesday, there's a big dip in the jet stream with a lot of energy going on right in here that would create severe weather possible from the Tennessee Valley down to Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and that could translate during the day on Wednesday toward the east. Look at this big dip in the jet stream right here. Boy, oh boy, that energy, that twisting and turning of the atmosphere could lead to downstream storms. And in this case, Tuesday or Wednesday would be that threat. This, unfortunately, in our computer model, the European here, doesn't look like a one and done. It looks like it would be a multifaceted, multi-day threat here where another big dip in the jet stream by Friday or Saturday. There's a couple here, northern jet getting active, southern jet staying active. Do we get some energy to dive down here to create some severe weather again toward next weekend somewhere in the south? A big dip in the jet stream. That's a lot of energy. That would lead to severe weather somewhere downstream and would need to be watched closely for that. And then here comes another opportunity. So let's look at specifically the fuel for thunderstorms. It really builds back here toward the Great Plains as we go into Tuesday. Tuesday is a severe day from parts of Kansas to Oklahoma to Texas to Arkansas, pushing into Mississippi, southern Louisiana. That's where I would place a severe risk right now if I were issuing those myself, right? So we're going to look at that actually in a minute. You'll see a well-placed outlook for that already 7 days out. But here we go into next Wednesday night, into Tuesday night into Wednesday. That threat shifts into the Carolinas and Georgia. How far north into Greenville, Anderson, Spartanburg, Asheville does that get? Right now, looks like we're on the fringe of that in Charlotte, Greenville, Atlanta. Greater instability here towards South Georgia, and certainly plenty of it here on Wednesday in the Panhandle of Florida. Certainly Central Florida could get on some severe weather going into next Wednesday. So this is a pattern that is kickstarting, that is basically saying go, and here we go. It basically wakes up. So into next weekend, that was a big dip in the jet stream you saw. So likely too cold for severe weather in the Carolinas. But next Saturday, Sunday, that was a pretty significant dip in the jet stream. Could there be severe weather in Central Florida, South Florida, I mean, there's plenty of juice down here to work with next Saturday. And then we're taking a little bit of a break before the atmosphere tries to reload back toward the west and send something. So simply put, March starting off a little bit on the active side. And there's a new outlook here. This is the Colorado State University's experimental outlook. Basically, it looks at all of the environment, the atmosphere as a whole, and issues outlooks. And there are no outlooks here, even looking ahead toward Thursday, when we could have a little low-end thunderstorm activity. Didn't even make the map for severe concerns. But when you look specifically at going into this weekend, nothing next week, it's Tuesday that grabs the attention of Arkansas, Louisiana, Texas, Mississippi, all states I just mentioned that are vulnerable to the potential of severe weather. Not only that, folks, I know you've got a lot riding on the forecast as far as does this lead to storms? Does this lead to thunderstorms? Your kids, your dogs, you don't want to hear thunder. Maybe you want to hear a good old thunderstorm. Well, let's look at the jet stream in a different way. This is the anomaly. So how's the jet stream behaving compared to normal? Well, in this case, big dip in the jet stream here, big rise there. It's Tuesday that this big, mean dip in the jet stream right here, lowering of heights, if you will, in the upper parts of the atmosphere, big dip, creating spin, creating energy, dives in and moves forward. And anywhere downstream of that before it begins to lift north is vulnerable to severe weather. If the energy is too far away, right, there's the energy too far away, at times it can lower your threat. But there's that window right in here, unfortunately, Tuesday night, where it looks to be the most vulnerable in those areas. Then the atmosphere kind of reloading right here, colder weather trying to move in, and here's another big dip. Now this would likely leave the Carolinas too cold for severe weather. Notice that 540 line right there. But farther south, there could be some storms next weekend in central Florida, and then the jet stream back to another little dip right in here. So multiple days, multiple threats. Folks, if you have family in those areas, please share this video with them, as we just want to get the heads up that, hey, the atmosphere is waking up. It's a typical time frame, March, April, May, big time, the most severe weather months, weeks that we get. I can also show you here lightning. Now, lightning flashes instantly. Okay, so this model right here will show you where there could be some lightning. Let's back that up. There could be some lightning and some thunder in the Carolinas here. I think on Thursday afternoon, could get some rumbles of thunder as that front crosses through. Until then, let's fast forward quickly through the weekend. Not much cooking as far as storms are concerned, but let's go to next Tuesday. Man, oh man, when you see electricity like this, Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, those are very electrical storms, which indicate strong storms. Not always the case that if you get electricity, you get strong, severe threats, but usually accompany each other. But violent enough storms to give us widespread lightning next Tuesday night into Wednesday, and that would lead into Wednesday, the threat for some lightning in Atlanta, southbound. Depends on the time of day, right? This is showing Wednesday morning, Wednesday afternoon. A lot of the Carolinas dealing with some lightning and some thunderstorms. So time of day is going to be everything. How we deal with that, how we watch that, is going to be close to it. But yeah, that Tuesday time frame for Texas over through Alabama, West Alabama, and then if we were to have one issued for Wednesday, which we don't yet, we'll see that tomorrow, I would say it'd be a little bit further toward the east. How about winter being over? Is it over with? Well, here's an anomaly. This is a North Atlantic oscillation. Basically, when it turns negative, we get a blocking pattern that traps in cold air. I'm not seeing that. Not only does it warm up significantly in March, but the sun angle is getting higher. So we're seeing just a different atmosphere. So can we get some snow to fall in March? Absolutely. We have many times before, but the pattern is not showing any signs of blocking. In fact, it's the opposite. It's got lots of ups and downs, which indicate maybe a volatile air mass, volatile jet stream. But how about probability of an inch or greater of snow? There's not much even for the United States as a whole. The next week out shows probability of an inch or more way up here toward the northern Appalachian Mountains. There could be some snow here along the Tennessee, North Carolina state line going into Thursday night, Friday. It'd be an inch or so, maybe 1-2 inches, but not a lot. Things are simmering down winter-wise, and we're kind of switching gears into severe weather threat-wise. Let's look at the outlooks. I'm trying to position this screen so you can see it a little bit more clearly. And let's look at these outlooks a little bit more in depth. There you go. So here is the 6 to 10 day outlook. This covers March 3rd through the 7th, so that first week of March. Like I mentioned, March 4th, 5th is the time frame we're looking at possible severe weather. We look warmer than normal across the southeast and wetter than normal. Wetter than normal is exactly what it means. Is there precipitation above normal precipitation chances? But with that usually means in severe weather season also stormy conditions, because if you have low pressure systems strong enough to give you wet weather, you're also going to have stormy weather usually. Not always the case, but usually. Let's extend that out to the 8 to 14 day outlook. This is March 5th through the 11th. You've got near normal temperatures across the southeast. Remember I showed you the jet streams dipping down, keeping things not cooler, but just in check across the Carolinas up through Georgia. But Florida would be above normal and wetter than normal. So that's where I would expect that week a higher severe weather threat. That'd be the 5th through the 11th, okay? Not written in stone, but Florida certainly looks more active than say, the Carolinas and Georgia. And then we got week 3 through 4, warmer than average and continuing to be above normal in this area. So that would be more Clipper type system. So fronts coming through, more progressive fronts, possibly giving us some storms. How about hazards? As we look at the different hazards here, there's some heavy snow toward California, not for the southeast, not for the northeast. Temperature, there's no hazards for temperature over the next 8 to 14 days. In that 8 to 14 day time frame, there's a slight risk of moderate to heavy precipitation in the southeast. And again, snow is not a concern locally in the southeast, but wind. The 5th and the 6th, already getting a highlight here from the Climate Prediction Center that there could be some things to watch as far as fronts, severe weather, and getting a highlight there for that time frame of March 5th through the 11th of severe weather being a concern. So globally, looking at any hazards, of course, not the time of year you'd be looking out toward the coast. But how about the drought? We have had a significant drought across a good bit of the southeast. That big rain we got about 2 weeks ago all but wiped out the drought across the western Carolinas. Still some abnormally dry conditions, but we are entering level 2, level 3 drought in some of those locations. Not the case anymore. So, folks, that's the way things are shaping up right now. The takeaway message here is that severe weather season is ramping up. The atmosphere is juicing up, basically. And mid next week for Alabama, Mississippi, Texas, Arkansas, Tuesday, possibly into Georgia and the Carolinas on Wednesday. And right now, we need to prepare for the fact that things could turn active. Now, all that is normal for March, but I'm just telling you that, hey, the atmosphere is showing us signs of that. So, hey, again, please consider liking this video. Let me know where you're watching from. That helps me tailor my forecast. And if you haven't already, we want you to here at WYFF4 to subscribe to this channel, wherever you're watching from right now. That helps us get that information to you. And you can turn on notifications so that if we do videos like this, you're able to see that notification pop up on your device, and you're able to see that, hey, we're updating you. So, folks, hope you have a great night. Stay safe, and we'll talk soon.